podcast, which presents Barely Watch Podcast featuring Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, how you feeling today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. It's a nice weekend. No Bears this week to worry about or to be excited about. Just kind of chilling this whole weekend here.
I know I'm kind of excited. I get to meal prep. I get to go to the gym all without worried about any time rush or anything like that. I can just get it done and relax and do whatever I want to do. And
Yep,
the
yep.
also
That's
good
always
part
good.
about it is we don't have to bite our nails wondering if we're gonna win or lose. So that's the good part about having the bye week as well, sir.
The best part about the bye is they're coming off a win.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
God,
because
two in
man,
a row at that, right? Two
if
in a
they
row.
were coming off a loss, this would be a very concerned week for Bears fans. Discourse on social media, on the talk shows, podcasts would be all negative. But look, they got two in a row, like you said. Uh, Things are looking up.
How is it that you spend your time when it's a bye week? Me, I'm personally bored because I don't have any dog in the fight of any of the other games, but I watch them, but I just feel bored.
Fantasy. I mean, I got a couple fantasy leagues that I've been in for a long time, so I do a lot of that. Well, like when the Bears aren't on, I'm normally doing fantasy stuff anyway. Just kind of
Uh-huh.
keep an eye on my guys at the red zone, right? In years past on the buys week, I would kind of use it as an excuse to kind of like tell the fam, hey, let's go out this weekend. I would always you do that, and they're like, oh, what about the Bears? I'm like, nah, let's not worry about the Bears. Let's just go have some fun. But
Yeah,
since I'm still in the boot recovering, I can't really do anything, so I'll just be home chilling all weekend.
there you go. There you go. Now, taking it back to last week where we played Las Vegas, Lester, what were your thoughts as it came down to the wire where they had to kick the field goal and block the field goal? Chicago had to.
So many times we've seen that happen as Bears fans, and the Bears have blown that game, right? So, I mean, that's growth. You heard Ben Johnson talk about it in the locker room speech, how that was a culture win, right? That's something that doesn't happen very often. I saw a quote from Kevin Byard earlier this week where, when Ben Johnson was hired, he talked to Kevin Byard and he said, hey, look, the book around the league about the Bears is you keep it close, they'll blow it at the end, right?
Hmm.
Because that's what we've seen in Chicago. So, like, man, that's true. That's facts right there. So, here we are 2 weeks in a row. The Bears had a chance to go out there and just put it to a team, and they got the win against Dallas. They got the win against the Raiders. Bye week this week. Commanders coming up. It's going to be a fun, exciting build up to that Commanders game, especially if the Commanders pull off a win this week.
Of course. And what did you think about Caleb's game winning drive, essentially taking them down the field and scoring that touchdown?
He was very average, right, the whole game, and then when it came to the end, I think he was like 6 of 8 in the fourth quarter. He had a couple big scrambles. He kept the play alive with his feet when he had to. I mean, again, that kind of shows you that he has that in him, right? He has
Hmm.
that clutch thing. I don't want to call it the clutch gene. I think that's kind of overused, but he has that. He has that in him. Ben Johnson, again, I saw another thing where he told him, at the end of the game, hey, we need you to come through and win this, and that's what he did. So big plays, big play by the defense, big play by the special teams. Everyone came up big when they had to in the last few seconds of that game.
Josh Blockwell is what they're calling them now.
Yeah, I love it. I
That's,
love
that's
it.
what. What did you think though? If you had to pinpoint it, Lester, why did Caleb Williams look kind of shook the whole game? As like especially when we're coming off of the first 10 scripted plays, he looks good. He scores a touchdown. He looks phenomenal. But that game, he just didn't look like that. What do you think might have attributed to that?
Yeah, I think the pressure might have got you a little bit. I mean, Max Crosby. I mean, look, the first half,
Oh
it's
man.
like no matter where Caleb looked, there was Max Crosby, right? He was
Hmm.
everywhere in that game, whether it was rushing a passer, kind of stand near the line of scrimmage to kind of get his hands up and bat down the pass. He had 3 batted balls. He had the interception. So I think he just may have like been seeing things like sometimes even when the pressure wasn't there, he was waiting for the pressure because it was always on him. And
Hmm.
look, they were starting a new right tackle, Theo Beneday. He eventually moved to the left side. They brought in Ozzie Pillow. They benched Braxton Jones at one point. So there was some moving pieces up front. And, it just takes a little while to get accustomed to that. And look, at the end of the day, even good quarterbacks have bad games.
Hmm.
And the good ones find a way to come back in the end and win the game. So that's what Caleb did.
But Packers fans, they were saying it doesn't count since we only won by 1 point. Is that true or false? Lester, does it matter how many points you win by or lose by?
And Packer fans are real chirpy. 2 weeks ago too, when the Bears beat the Cowboys, like, oh, who cares? The Cowboys suck. And then the Packers play the Cowboys, and what happened?
Yeah,
It took a very lucky play for them to even tie that game because that pass by Jordan Love at the end, come on, that was a stupid
time
throw.
expired. Like time expired.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
They did them a favor by putting 1 second on the clock because I'm no conspiracy theorist or anything like that. But I just think like once Vegas gets involved in all the sports betting and all, having to cover this, I think that plays a part in ticky tack calls at times. Not the whole game on who's going to win or who's going to lose, but I think some of it factors into the ticky tack calls.
It's possible. I don't want to go there. Just the Packers are very lucky to
Yeah,
even tie the Cowboys, and they were trying to
right.
clown the Bears for who cares if you beat the Cowboys? They suck. Okay, well if the Cowboys suck and you
You
guys
guys
couldn't
should.
beat them, get the
Yeah,
hell out of
right,
here with
right. Now, getting ready, Lester. We know we have the bye this week. We have that rematch versus the Commanders next week. Looking forward to that. Do you think there will be like some type of animosity in the Bears' head? Like, look how they exposed us last year. We really have to win this game. Well, how do you see that mentality coming out?
I was having this discussion, and I'm in a chat with a bunch of friends of mine that cover the Bears and stuff around the league, and we were talking that game last year. I'm thankful that that whole thing went way it went, right? Like the coach Eberflus just kind of choking it away. He not calling a timeout. Stevenson kind of doing what he did. The Bears losing in that way really sent the season on a spiral, which
Hmm.
led to Eberflus getting fired.
Yep, yep,
So if if the Bears would have won that game, Flus could still be the coach right now.
yeah,
So
true.
look, the further I am from the game, the more I'm like, okay, it had to happen. Things have to happen in order to get things on the right path, and
Hmm.
and that was just part of the Bears' journey of where we are now. So, but yeah, I think there will be some feelings, right? I mean, the Bears were pissed off in that game. They were pissed off at Flus. They're pissed off at everything in that game. They're pissed off at Stevenson. Stevenson has talked about it.
Hmm.
He's had a nice couple games here, kind of leading up to what he's got coming up here against Washington. So yeah, and then of course Ben Johnson's a psycho man. He is going to let them know, hey, look, guys, you guys that were here last year, this is when you need, you want to go out there and put those demons to rest, right? The way that game ended, it's been all over social media. The Commander fans are clowning the Bears again. It's like it's going to come up this week, but then next week when it's game week, it's going to be even more. So yeah, I think there'll be some extra feelings and extra motivation for the Bears to get that dub.
What type of talks and emotions do you think will be surrounding Tariq Stevenson going into this game? Who has stepped up these past couple of games? I'll give him that. He's like it seems like he's on his redemption mode when it comes to the season.
Yeah, I hope he just puts his head down and works hard, right? Because
Mhm,
in the past, he's from Miami, right? He's a Miami cornerback, so he's a little chirpy, right? He likes to talk a little trash. So I just hope this week he keeps his head down. He tries to avoid some of the chatter out there and just go out there and focus and help his team get a victory. Because like you said, man, we've seen these last 2 weeks, the talent's there. We saw it as a rookie, the talent was there last year, like how the Commanders game kind of sent the whole season in a spiral. It really sent his season in a spiral too, because he was
mhm.
not the same player after that. You could tell it got in his head a little bit. So focus, go out there and play your game, and I think the Bears they'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, speaking of, let's talking on that offensive line. Obviously, Ozzy Trapillo, he came out there and he looked good. He did not look
Yeah,
like a rookie against Max Crosby of all people. Like for him to not allow any sacks on Max Crosby, do you think that will go into these upcoming weeks and put some type of stamina in his head and put that battery on his back?
yeah. I mean, if he has to play, I mean, who knows where Darnell Wright is right now in his rehab? I mean, he was iffy to play in the game. The arm was bothering too much. So they kind of sat him down. I think if Wright plays, they already talked about how I think it was Brad Biggs reported that Theo Benedict's going to start at left tackle.
Oh
So that's
wow,
our
okay.
yeah that's their plan moving forward. Look, Braxton Jones is fine. I don't think he ever got back from that injury. I don't think he ever had a chance to fully recover. I think he tried to add some weight in the offseason while rehabbing. I just think the whole thing just didn't work out the
Hmm.
best for him. So yeah, they're going to start Benedict. It sounds like at left tackle. If Darnell Wright is good to go, he's back at right tackle. And then Ozzy may not play again the rest of the year if Wright, keeps it healthier. But I'm fine with that. I mean, but then next year, all bets are off. They may have to move right to the left side.
No, for
I
real?
mean, look, they drafted a guy in the second round in Trapillo, right?
Yeah, right.
if you drafted him and all he can do is play right tackle, you got to explore your options. So if your options are moving right to the left, I think that's what you have to do. But hopefully that's a next year problem.
Okay, like you said, next year problem. Do you think Darnell Wright will be just as good and be able to affect the game at on the left side?
It's possible. I mean, he's definitely a really good athlete. I mean, we've seen those clips of him, when they send him out in pass routes, right, in practice, having some fun. Goes up, contorts his body, comes down with the pass.
Hmm.
There was some clips floating around of him playing basketball, when he was younger. So he is a very good athlete. I think if anyone can do it, he could probably do it. But again, some guys just can't ever make that transition. We saw Charles Leno struggle. He couldn't go to the right side. We saw Ozzy Pillow struggle. He couldn't go to the left side. So
Hmm.
until they get him in camp, until they kind of see what he can do, it's hard to say. But like I said, his athleticism, his football IQ, I think is a guy that probably could pull that off.
Okay, because I know we spoke about that before on past shows, and I say, hey, what's up with always bringing these offensive linemen in, and then you move them around? I'm pretty sure Cody Whitehair was a guy that they tried to move around to different positions and all that, and
All
sometimes
over.
it just doesn't work out,
Yep.
And I would hate for that to be like the thing that's gonna kill his confidence and
Yeah.
him struggle to get back mentally and physically, because obviously there's a big difference between playing the left side and the right side as well too. Like how you move your body, how you move your hips. There's so many things that goes into the mechanics, and I would just hate for that to derail a good career. Is all that I'm saying.
Whenever someone talks about going right to left, like, oh, who cares? I move my guy to the left to right in Madden all the time, right? That's
Ri-
what you always hear, right?
Yeah.
So Mark Schlereth, right? Have you heard of Mark Schlereth? I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure it's Mark Schlereth. Stinks his nickname.
Yep.
He had a famous quote when he was asked about going switching sides. He's like, "Look, when you go to the bathroom, wipe your ass. You use which hand you use, your right hand. Next time you go to the bathroom, use your left hand. How uncomfortable do you feel? How wrong does it feel? You may miss. You're gonna have problems doing it. So that's the same thing. It's a muscle memory.
Hmm.
Some guys just can't do it. It's hard to do. It takes a long time to get that going over there. But like I said, some guys can do it. Some guys have the athleticism. Some guys are
Hmm.
wired like that. It's like I said. So again, that's a next year problem. For this year, I think Wright's gonna hold it down at right tackle. Theo Beneday, he's fine, right? He's nothing. Where you're like, oh my god, they found their savior at left tackle. I wouldn't be surprised to see Braxton Jones. Maybe they do have some time to kind of sit back and rehab, and then in another month down the road, Jones is feeling better. He's in
Hmm.
a better place mentally, better place physically. Maybe he goes back into left tackle, but regardless, Jones is in his contract year. Probably his last year in Chicago. So if Beneday and Jones are close, see what you got in Beneday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting ready to, obviously we got a week off, with this bye week. Tell us a little bit about what you've heard around about people coming back, such as Kyler Gordon, T.J. Edwards, Colston Loveland, Darnell Wright.
They just had the one practice last week, and then they were off for a few days. I believe I saw T.J. Edwards was back out there limited. I believe I saw Kyler Gordon was out there limited. I believe they said Loveland was out there. I didn't see anything about Wright at the time, but like I said, it's going to be like 3 weeks now since the injury, going all the way to Washington. Look, he finished that game right where he hurt his elbow,
Hmm.
so it wasn't to the point where he couldn't play. But you want to have both your hands. So if he's limited in any capacity, I think they're comfortable playing Trapillo if they have to one more week. But I really want to see right out there.
Of course. Obviously, we know that's not anytime soon. But have you heard anything on Jalen Johnson?
He shared something to his Instagram. I don't know if you caught that. He was walking around getting staying in shape, trying to do his thing, and he had a I believe it was a fluid bag attached to his core,
Hmm.
kind of help drain it. But yeah, I mean everything they've said is the surgery he had could make it possible to come back towards the last quarter of the season. So if as long as there's no setbacks, as long as everything goes good, you may see him for the last 3 or 4 games of the year.
Now, you as the head coach, would you only activate him back is if playoffs are a possible hope, or would you activate him regardless if you guys have a losing season at the time and there's no hope of playoffs? How would you play that?
Yeah, that's a good call. I think at the end of the day, you would hope they would you know leave it up to the doctors, right? I mean,
Hmm.
if the doctors say, look, he's good, the core injury is completely healed. The possibility of a re-injury are minimal to none. and he's going to want to play, right? So I think you play him, but if there's any slight chance where, like, we're not completely sure, you shut him down. You don't want to let him get out there because, look, he's still under contract for a few more years. He's still one of the top corners in the game. You would love to have him this season, but if he's not able to do it, shut him down. Just keep him on that IR and look towards 2026.
Yes, sir. As we get ready to close out this episode, this amazing episode at that, my last question to you, Lester, is: do you see anything happening with the trade deadline approaching? So throw out some names, some positions that you think that we can possibly use to bolster this roster, make us back to being a competitive team as well.
We just had a roundtable go up, actually scheduled today at the Windy City Gridiron. A bunch of our writers kind of weighed in on the same topic, and I mean, so our guys are talking about running back possibility, defensive end possibility. Maybe defensive tackle. Look, the run game is struggling. If it's
Oh my
a if
God.
it's a scheme thing and they feel they got the talent to solve it, that's fine. If it's a talent thing, they may have to make a move because I mean they're the worst run defense in the game. They only got what 4 sacks on the season. They can't get after the quarterback. The pressures are low. To me, if a move is to be made, maybe defensive end. But honestly, who's out there? There's not a lot of stuff out there. There's definitely no
Yeah.
free agents, waiting to get paid.
Yeah.
Uh, Clowney was available, right? And the Bears passed on him. He ended up going to Dallas. So there's no one else left. I mean, if a trade happens, maybe running back, you can send a late day pick for
Yeah.
running. We saw Bigsby recently get traded from the Jags to the Eagles for
Hmm.
a day 3 pick, something like that. I don't expect nothing major. Maybe just a small move to kind of tweak the roster if they feel they need something. But look, like I said before, I don't think Ben Johnson's worried about running back. I think he's content with Swift. He's content with Monangai.
Even
I
though he
think,
traded Swift away in the past.
yeah, because that was a different time. That was a different Swift. That was they had a chance to go out and get a top tier running back. They did it.
Hmm.
That was a better trade compensation they got back for that. At this point, Swift's career, he's not going to get a big thing. So I think they're content because they know who Swift is. He's he's a similar runner to what he was back then. He's still not good between the tackles. He's just never going to be that guy.
He's not that first down, second down back, man. He's like
Yes,
more of a gadget player or that guy
yes,
that you bring
yes.
in like for special packages, or like your bruiser back, take him
Yeah,
out a play or two and let DeAndre Swift come in and use his, like
yeah.
let the big running back beat the linebackers up, let him come in and kill them with speed. Like that's the type of guy he is.
Exactly. I think you may see Guy get a little more carries as this goes on. I'm not sure about Roshan Johnson. What if he's in the plans at all? He's been healthy 2 weeks now, and he has not had a touch on offense. So
Why do you
mm,
think that is, Lester?
I
Because
think they're just content with Guy. I mean,
he's not that guy either, though. Like
I
he
know, but
he's a rookie. We still haven't seen many flashes of him, but especially when it comes to pass protection and all that, he just gets leveled each time
yeah,
because he's so small. Like
he's little.
he's not the answer either.
Well, this is the good thing. They're on the bye,
Hmm.
and even though the players are off, the coaches are like in the lab, self scouting, going over all that film. And if they feel change can be made, they're going to go to polls. Say, look, we can't do it with these group with
Hmm.
these backs. So I didn't like the early buy when it was announced. I'm like, oh man, I hate the early buy, but the way the team has gone, the way things have looked, I think it came at a perfect time, right? I mean, this is a 4 weeks in. Let's reevaluate the offense, reevaluate everything we're doing here on defense, and let's see what else we may need because the trade deadline, like you said, it's a few weeks away. So having the buy now gives them an earlier chance to kind of really reassess it without having
Hmm.
the game plan right now.
I'm hearing a lot of talks. Alvin Kamara, Brees Hall, Lester would. I mean, just entertain us for once. Like,
Well, the Jets just lost Braylon Allen, right? He's out for like 12 weeks.
oh, I didn't even
So,
see
so,
that.
so I don't think they're going to trade anyone over there. I like Kamara. I think he's a really good running back, but what are you going to give up for him? He's still playing at a high level,
He's
but
32, right?
he's getting old, right? So like you can't give up too high of a draft pick, and the Saints traditionally have not been big sellers. They just kind of
Hmm.
they deal with their team. They don't really make big moves. They're clearly in a rebuild. Like
Hmm.
there's like 4 or 5 teams you're looking around the league and say, man, these guys should just sell all their dudes. They suck,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
Saints are one of them. So I mean, maybe something happens, but I'll tell you this though. Ryan Poles wants to make a move. He seems to always have a day 3 pick in his pocket. He's just itching to burn, and it's been a while. So I think if something's going to happen, it'll happen.
Could you see the move off of Kamara for a day 3?
Yeah, I mean, if they offer a day 3, I think that's something you could do because I mean he's definitely like I said he's also a more of a pass catching back, but I mean
Mhm,
that fits in what Ben Johnson wants to do. He's decent, as far as everything else in the game. He's better than Swift as far as that goes, but I think now if you can bring a guy in like Kamara, now you've got an extra weapon. Again, I talk about his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. It gives you more options. You can play Swift and Kamara at the same time, man.
mhm,
Right? And then now what do you do as a defense? How do you max it up? You split them out. You put DJ Moore in the backfield, and you make some shift in emotion. And now what the hell are you going to do as a defense? So it gives you
yeah,
options. But again, I think maybe content. I think if Loveland's healthy and comes back, I think we start seeing him get more targets. He's
mhm.
just too good of an athlete, too good of a player. Man, what about Komet last man? That was probably his worst game as a pro, right?
3
Ah,
drops, 2 false starts. Was that him writing his way out of Chicago, or
I'm
was
a
it just a
big
bad game?
I'm a big Komet fan. I've always defended him. He's a good football player.
Yeah.
That was a bad game. It happens. It came at a terrible time because look, you got like what 7 targets that game. The other tight end is injured, so you're the featured, and then he had just blew it. So bad game. He'll bounce back.
What about that drop on the sideline though, Caleb? 35-yard bomb, 31-yard, 35-yard
Yeah,
bomb on the move, like straight throw to the sideline. When he did that, I was like, oh, that has to be Romo Dunze down there because we've known him to do that. But then I
yeah.
look at his command and he drops. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Would have been a tough catch. You want to see your guys make a play. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, you got to make a play for your quarterback sometimes, and he just didn't do it. So I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah. Last trade rumor, and I know you're gonna shut this down. Bringing Max Crosby to Chicago. Max Crosby to Chicago. What do
That would
you have to
be,
give up for him? What do you give up for
the
him?
Bears have dollar store Max Crosby and right now, right? They have Austin Booker.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Coming out of college, Austin Booker, his traits, right? His traits compared to Max Crosby,
Hmm.
tall, long, wiry, right? Stronger than he looks. He kind of studied Crosby. He talked about Crosby. He was younger, so Crosby's not happening. It would be great. Max Crosby is one of those players where whenever the Raiders play on TV, I always make sure I watch because he's all over the place, man. He makes
Yeah.
plays. He rushes the passer. He never leaves the field. He'd be outstanding.
He's easily a
So
first round, maybe even two
oh
first,
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. So if
yeah,
if if the Bears get Booker back, which they should get back, hopefully he's eligible to come off IR this week. Um, Maybe it gives them a little juice off the edge. I mean, that's what this team needs. They
I'm
need
not
a
hoping.
pass
I'm
rush.
not
No,
counting
I'm
that.
not
I mean,
hoping it.
I'm not, no
But
offense
he
to
had
him. I'm
those
just
2 sacks in the preseason.
the
Bears fans had
preseason.
him
Oh my
anointed, right?
god.
Nah, no,
Well,
he's
I mean, like
good.
I said, I'm not going to be a betting man on that. But
No,
I mean,
no,
it would be nice to get some extra guys, some bodies out there. Especially you paid all that money to Deo, and he's like I said. I mean, like you said, we're struggling on the defensive line. I just hope
yeah.
that they can get it together, or maybe make a move or something.
Something's got to happen. Like I said, Deo's okay. Nothing special. Definitely
Yeah,
not making plays for the money he's paid. Montez Sweat, where's he been? He hasn't been doing it.
yeah, he's been minimal
So,
out there as well
so
too.
you got to hope that the scheme can kind of figure things out. Look, and also I think part of it is because the secondary is so injured. They're
Hmm.
missing so many players back there. I think Dennis Allen's not being quite as aggressive with his front seven as he wanted to be.
Hmm.
He's missing TJ Edwards, linebacker, who's one of your core guys who never leaves the field. Jalen Johnson gone, Kyler Gordon gone. So I think Dennis Allen may be kind of like playing things a little more close to the vest there because he
Hmm.
doesn't want to expose his secondary, right? So I think with Kyler Gordon returning, I think with Tyreek Stevens playing a little better, TJ Edwards comes back. Maybe you'll see him get a little more aggressive with some of the stuff he does up front.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard Lester just say we're going out to get Max Crosby, so be on the lookout for that.
And you always get me with those. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
on. It's
god!
gonna be on TikTok in a week. Oh,
Yeah,
this Lester dumbass said this again.
Lester, we appreciate you having some time for us today, young man. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Anytime, my friend.
Yes, sir.